So, Vladimir Putin went to Mongolian Republic in and out without being arrested by this so-called International Criminal Court, which had launched an arrest warrant against him. Wow, that sounds very interesting. But why they failed to arrest Vladimir Putin after they had launched this arrest warrant against him, and knowing very well that Vladimir Putin will be visiting the Mongolian Republic? Why they failed to ask the Mongolian Republic to go ahead and arrest Vladimir Putin, since Mongolian Republic, they are part of this so-called International Criminal Court? Well, guys, that's why we're here, and let us talk about it. You all saw it by now all over. It's been trending. Everyone are talking about it. Vladimir Putin, who went in an official visit in the Mongolian Republic, and he went there with his members of the government who have to go and sign different deals through the different tradings concerning politics and military cooperations, different things which they have to sign. Well, that is what they show us on the camera. But what was the real reason why Vladimir Putin had to visit this country? Because that's what you guys need to pay attention to. A lot has been said already, and you can tell her that since Vladimir Putin, they had launched this arrest warrant against him, well, it was kind of something which the Western, they were busy celebrating about, because they had felt that, okay, they got Vladimir Putin where it hurt the most, because they were even more sure and determined, knowing that Vladimir Putin won't succeed or won't be the same man without him being welcoming the red carpet around the world, without him being part of the different organizations that the world leaders usually guided. They thought by putting a lot of sanctions on Vladimir Putin, imposing different kind of sanctions, we are talking about 150 sanctions, which the Republic of Russia, they are going through right now. They thought that it was going to be more easy for them to defeat Vladimir Putin and the Republic of Russia. But unfortunately, the Western, they seem now to lose their own war, or they seem to fail with their own missions. Instead, what we are seeing is Vladimir Putin becoming even more stronger. We are seeing Vladimir Putin becoming a leader who the world end up loving. We are seeing people of Russia being supported by many countries around the world, regardless of what the Western, they have put on place in order for them to destroy Vladimir Putin with his politics, regardless of the kind of the intentions they had toward him, or shall I say, regardless of what they've been trying to implement in people's eyes, so that people, they can end up seeing Vladimir Putin as a bad leader around the world. Well, of course, Vladimir Putin, he have tried to, go aside of all these bad intentions that the Western, they have toward the man Vladimir Putin. The men have become even more stronger. So, guys, now, before we get to understand exactly the main reason why Vladimir Putin, he had to go to visit the Mongolian Republic, as you guys, you saw it all over the social media, or whether on the news channels, they've been talking about it. But let us first have an idea to clarify certain things about this visit. First of all, you should keep in mind that this visit, it was announced in the last minute. Yes, it was announced in the last minute that Vladimir Putin will be visiting the Mongolian Republic. But why? Of course, it was a strategy which the two countries, or the two leaders, the president of Mongolians and the president of Russians, they have put on place in order for them to not raise up a lot of tensions, as the one we did so during the time of BRICS 2023 in South Africa. It was all announced, and everyone was expecting to see Vladimir Putin attending the BRICS in South Africa. And that is when we saw this so-called ICC, since we all know that this is one of the tools that the US and NATO member countries, they often usually use it in order for them to go against someone whom they know that they have a lot to win if they have to defeat this kind of person. And we all know that the ICC, the UN, these tools, they are at the service of the Western. These tools, they have to obey to whatsoever the Western are putting in place in order for them to survive. So all these other nations that go to participate in this UN or the ICC, they're just going there to be lead, you know, because the last man, the mastermind behind these all organizations, it is the Western themselves. They're the one who have to tell you what to do. If they disagree with something, then you're not gonna go otherwise against them. If you want me to tell you more about that, I can give you very simple examples which we are all familiar about. I can tell you about things which is happening around the world, whereby you see if it's someone else who have to do it, you see the UN, you see the ICC, they'll all condemn this kind of behaviors. They'll call that kind of a person as a dictators. They'll consider them as a people who don't respect democracies. They'll call them all sorts kind of names. But when it comes to the countries which work with the United States of America, to the US itself or its allies, they're kind of like protecting each other, and these world organizations, whether it's the G7, G20, United Nations, the ICC, all these world big organizations as we know them, name it by on your end or on your own, you will see that they don't have the courage to condemn or have the courage to tell the US with its allies straight into their face of what they're doing as wrong things to the world. That's why you see the Israel is busy bombarding, killing people, innocent people in Gaza. Yet they are free, they are living their life like nothing ever happened. That's why you see all bad things that's happening, them they don't talk anything. See what is happening, for example, between Russia and Ukraine. They are all kind of like supporting Russia, supporting Ukraine against Russia. Why? Because according to them, they believe that no, what Russia is doing is wrong. But what Israel does to Palestine, it is right according to them. And you see how they're sponsoring them, putting billions of money on the table in order for them to continue fighting or killing innocent people. That is the kind of people that they are behind these world organizations such as the UN and the ICC. So the Republic of Mongolia, they did not want to announce the arriving of Vladimir Putin in their country on time to avoid this kind of drama, because if they would have announced it on time, trust me, these other world organizations that I just mentioned, they'll have started raising up their point and putting more pressure on Mongolian Republic as much they did with South Africa. So that the Mongolia, since they are part of this country, had signed to be part of the ICC, they should go ahead and fulfill their assignment. That's why the Republic of Mongolia, they kept quiet about these matters. They refused to talk about it. They keep it as a secret until few days before Vladimir Putin landed in Mongolian Republic. That is when they end up announcing his arriving. Even when they announced his arriving, we saw how the whole entire world standing up and trying to start putting more pressure that no, they should arrest Vladimir Putin. But this time, things seem to be more different to the time when Vladimir Putin is supposed to be attending the BRICS summit in South Africa in 2023. I'll tell you why. So during the time of when Vladimir Putin was supposed to attend the BRICS summit in South Africa, yes, there were a lot of pressure, and South African government felt it and they give in. They give in. Why? Because they were having intruders in their government, or should I say inside South Africa. They're having the highlights, people who are at the service of the Western. People who believe whatsoever the Western took as a decision is the good things and not for people of South Africa. These people, they were so ready to betray the government of the ANC in order for them to sacrifice or to arrest Vladimir Putin in case if he ever tried to step inside South Africa. So they end up putting all the pressures. They even announce, imagine the government of South Africa, the government of President Cyril Ramaphosa, coming forward saying that no, Vladimir Putin is not just a friend to us, but just because of the relationship which South Africa have with Russia, we don't see ourselves doing such a things. And besides that, Vladimir Putin won't be coming to South Africa as a simple individuals as you guys are expecting us to arrest him, but he will be coming to South Africa as a member or part of the BRICS co-founder. And then South Africa government back then, they try to justify all the necessary reasons that it can allow them to go ahead and welcome Vladimir Putin, but unfortunately, that did not happen. Why? Because they were already having people such as DA members who were already threatening the government of the ANC and saying that, no, if you guys ever try to do this, us we are going to do otherwise. Of course, they knew already that if President Ramaphosa have to welcome Vladimir Putin in South Africa, these people will call him in the parliament and they will raise up kind of motions against him or those kind of things. And it will end up becoming like another problem of Omar al-Bashir, who was welcome in South Africa. During his days over here, the so-called DA and other people, they already ran to court and went to the court so that the court will judge and give an arrest warrant, an immediate arrest warrant against Omar al-Bashir back then in 2019. But unfortunately, this time was not the case. When they saw the government of ANC, they were kind of more firm, defending whatsoever it is. That's how you saw some of the DA mayors from Eastern Cape or somewhere there, I don't know. These men come on and have the courage saying that if Vladimir Putin try to step his feet in his province, he's going to arrest him. He don't care whether Ramaphosa is not aware of this or not. He is going to arrest him because it will be Vladimir Putin stepping in his province. So therefore, it will be within his right for him to do whatsoever he feel like doing. So under that kind of pressure, to avoid this kind of drama, that is how the government of the ANC, with the President Cyril Ramaphosa as President of South Africa, they give in. They were like, okay, no, to avoid problem, let us cancel this visit. Vladimir Putin can be presented by someone else. He end up sending his foreign minister who had to come and represent him. Okay, that was already aside. But did Vladimir Putin give up to not visit other countries? No. Vladimir Putin, you saw recently, he visited the North Korea.
Партнерстве между Корейской Народно-Демократической Республикой и Российской Федерацией.
Еще не поздно. 1 час, да.
When he visited this country, whether it is the Western, starting with the US, British, all these countries that want to take Vladimir Putin down, they did not have the courage to open their mouth. They did not even try to put more pressure on the ICC and try to commendate it so that they can go ahead and arrest Vladimir Putin in North Korea. Why? Because they knew very well that this was going to be very impossible for someone such as Vladimir Putin to be just arrested like that in that country, because they know what North Korea stands for. They know very well that someone as a Kim Jong, you won't allow them to do such a things, because first of all, it's not part of this so-called international criminal court. Secondly, it is not in a good relationship with the Western. The same fight that the Vladimir Putin is handling right now with the Western, it is his same fight. So the enemy of Vladimir Putin, they are his enemy as well. So obviously it was very impossible for someone such as Vladimir Putin to be arrested in North Korea. And they failed, they could not talk much about it. Besides that, you guys, you saw Vladimir Putin went all the way as well in India, in China, all these countries. And in the next future, is planning to go to Brazil. These countries, those are the countries that no matter what, they're never going to betray Vladimir Putin or Russia Republic, because they know very well that no, their relationship are very strong and they are having a common enemy, whether it's economically, whether it's physically, in any kind of ways. These people, they know very well that no, we can't trust the Western with their politics, because they are mafias, and this is how they like to cooperate. So if they succeed to take someone down, such as Vladimir Putin, which means us will be the next in the list. So they are trying kind of like protecting each other, and they're trying to all their best to protect someone such as Vladimir Putin. Now, Vladimir Putin, he managed to go all the way in Mongolian Republic. We all saw how they welcome him. More than a king, more than a president, red carpet all over, official, military over there. We also how he first arrived in a airport which was well secured, not only by official, government official, but even by militaries, just to make sure that no one should not come and try to show their face here and say that no, we have an arrest warrant against Vladimir Putin, which was launched by the ICC. So they make sure that everything sits in order, and they succeed to do so. That is a very strong message, which I'm going to elaborate more in this video as we are going forward. We saw Vladimir Putin went in. He passed his message. And his message, obviously, it is what he has to say over the cameras. But behind this message that Vladimir Putin had said, what is the real message that Vladimir Putin was trying to pass here? Vladimir Putin's message here was trying to tell the Western that regardless of whatsoever you guys you are doing to me right now, regardless of whatsoever you have tried to influence the world, well, the entire world have understood your game and the mastermind behind your games. So you're not going to succeed. You are trying to defeat me, but I'm becoming even undefeatable. You try to tell people lies about what is happening in Ukraine and everything, but yet I defeated you in Ukraine. Look at them, how many they are. How many countries who are behind this Ukraine conflict with Russia. All of them, they are sending billions of monies, they are sending their armies, they are sending everything. Yet, Vladimir Putin with Russia alone, on their own, they're still trying to defend themselves, and they're still existing. Their presence is still in Ukraine. That it is something that the Western, they're never going to be able to forgive themselves anytime soon. Do you guys still remember the former British Prime Minister Boris, what he had said? I think I played that video for you. The man who had to come and say that, no, we can't let Vladimir Putin win over Ukraine, because if Vladimir Putin win, and if Ukraine ever lost against Russia, which means that will be the entire defeat of the Western country. That is a very big politician who came forward and speak his mind. He was kind of encouraging his people to go ahead and do all the necessary crazy thing in order for Russia to be defeated by Ukraine. Because they know very well that this is not Ukraine. Yes, we put Ukraine as a casket in front of, as a mask in front of our faces. We use Ukraine as our battlefield in order for us to defeat Russia. Since we don't want our country to be affected or being destroyed by the war, therefore we can go ahead and use Ukraine with our puppet President Zelensky in front, but we should not be defeated by Putin or Russia. Because if we get defeated, it will be a shame. That are his words and not mine. You guys who heard the man, he was very clear about that part. So they're doing everything in their power to make sure that they defeat Vladimir Putin. They go ahead, they impose or tell the ICC what to do. The ICC did it. They went in the UN Councilor. They tell the UN what to do. They do it. Everything they want, they tell these world organizations. These world organizations, they'll have to go and fulfill whatsoever it is their wishes. And they were doing all these things hoping that no, this is going to neutralize someone such as Vladimir Putin. But since the world is clever enough to understand what's been going on, since the world have understood the game of the Western, that is how everyone, they end up opening their eyes. They were like, no, you guys are now too much. We know your game and we know how you act. We know how you do things around, and we're not going to fall for this. Vladimir Putin start gaining more popularity around the world. He start having many people supporting him. He start having world leaders who believe in him. He start having world leaders who have his back in the UN Councilor. Whenever they say, okay, let us raise our hands and vote and see who's against this and who's not against it. We saw a lot of countries around the world, they rather prefer to be neutral. Why? Because they know the mastermind behind this war in Ukraine. They know very well that Vladimir Putin is being attacked. Vladimir Putin with Russia, they are being provoked by the Western. Therefore, it is also their right for them to take any kind of precautions in order for them to defend themselves against their enemies. So, to not be part of this, all these world leaders with their representatives in different world organizations, they choose to keep quiet and remain neutral. We saw the Western trying even to threaten some of them with sanctions, saying that no, all the countries who are supporting Russia on what is doing in Ukraine, they should be facing this kind of sanctions and whatsoever. The world leaders, they were like, okay, if that is the case, then that's what we call detective. You guys want to be detectors and telling us how to do things around. Therefore, go ahead and do whatever you do. And that's how you saw you guys, most of world leaders, they are now relaying in such organizations such as BRICS, with its new currency, which they had already announced that it will come anytime soon by 2025. Why? Because they could see that this Western are using us. Just because for the fact that we are using their US dollar, just because we are using their Google, just because we are having in our phones their app such as a WhatsApp or Facebook, they are now using this kind of against us so that they can see on how they can manipulate us. Now, everyone is isolating themselves from all these kind of activities. So, Vladimir Putin, which the West thought that they will defeat that easily as they did expect it, he ended up becoming an undefeatable person because he went in a country which apparently it is part of the ICC signatures. He went in, he came out, and no one even tried to touch him. And even the Mongolian Republic, they are there. We are still waiting to see who will have the courage to go ahead and tell them that no, okay, since you guys failed to arrest or to execute the arrest warrant which the ICC had recommended all the countries that are part of the ICC, therefore you guys, you will be surviving this, you'll be having this kind of punishment. That we are still waiting to say that. And trust me, you know what will happen? Once the ICC do that, that is the day the Mongolian Republic will leave. Why? Because everyone, they can understand that no, it is a platform which the Western, they've put in place to bring all the world countries together so that they'll be able to manipulate them. They'll make you sign certain kind of things so that you don't end up moving around freely. So that once you break up those rules which they had made you sign over there, then they'll go ahead and use that same organizations to destroy you. That's even the reason why, if you see most of them, these countries, the Westerns, they're not part of this ICC. The US, they're not part of it. Not even the British or France. All these countries, they believe that they are sovereign countries more than all these other countries. They stay away from it. Do you know why? It is because they know very well the kind of crime that they have committed around the world. They know very well that if we have to go and sign for this for us to be part of these organizations, what will happen to our former President George Bush on what he have done in Iraq? What will happen to is it Blessed Blay, who was also part of the people who had to do serious massacres? So these people, they kind of like trying to avoid all this because they know that they have done a lot of crime around the world in the name of so-called democracy that they like to preach to everyone. So Vladimir Putin, he have gained even more popularity around the world. He have now more friends that would trust him, because I don't think Vladimir Putin is stupid for him to go in such countries such as Mongolia, a small country in the Asia continent, where he have to go there and then come back without him having that guarantee by the government of Mongolians, saying that no, Mr. President, Mr. Putin, you are more than welcome. As we are here, we'll assume anything that will try to scam and stand between you and us. We'll make sure that you arrive safe, you go back safe. Remember, you arrived there on Monday during the night, and it was official welcome on Tuesday. That was a very strong message to show the Western that no, regardless of whatsoever you guys are doing, regardless of your arrest warrant you have against me, I still have many countries out there who believe in what we are doing, because they know very well that it is you guys who are provoking us, and they are not willing to cooperate with your so-called rules of the ICC. They rather ignore everything. That's the strong message Vladimir Putin tried to pass to the Western. And the Mongolian Republic, they've guaranteed him that no, you can come in, no one will raise a motion in the parliament, no one will take us to court and say that no, since Vladimir Putin is here, he should be immediately arrested because there's an arrest warrant against him that the ICC had launched back then. And that was something which the government of South Africa had failed back then, because it was the sovereignty of South Africa being put online to know whether South Africa can resist against all the pressure of the Western or not. But unfortunately, that did not happen. You guys, you remember Julius Malim was even blaming President Cyril Ramaphosa, saying that no, he's the one who actually did not want Vladimir Putin to come here, because if it was up to him with the EFF or any other members in the parliament, they would have loved to welcome Vladimir Putin. If anyone tried to raise that problem in the parliament, they would have go against that person, and all of them, they were going to vote in one position in order for that person to not have easy access to raise up a motion in the parliament. So that should be a big lesson, that each and every country around the world can understand that the problem between Russia and Ukraine is not that simple as you guys will think. They should understand that actually the problem is that the Western are the one who want to make Russia down, because Russia was a big threat to the Europeans. Because they feel like, no, we can't deal with someone such as Russia, then us going to deal with such people as the Americans. That's how they have to choose who can be leading them and showing them the way around. And that's what they did. They went on, they create all these kind of things, and they put it in place, and then we saw what happened. So now Russia have to come and defend themselves also on their side. And that's when now the Western, they went crazy, because they could not understand what is happening. A lot is being said already so far about Vladimir Putin. But Vladimir Putin is still remaining undefeated. There's a lot to talk about it. In our next video, we'll discuss on how the Republic of Russia with Vladimir Putin, they've given a last warning to the Western, because as we're talking right now, the Western, they have decided to start now sending their fighting weapons, their gun machines in Ukraine and with their own people. So that's also a big threat for Russia, because right now, you guys remember 2 weeks ago, Russia was also invaded by Ukraine And you can see how Russia is responding in a very harsh way without even having pity of his own people. So they want to get rid of these military, Ukraine militaries who are within the Russia border by all means. So they'll kind of like go to this village, they'll give a message to the citizens of that village saying that you guys must evacuate as soon as possible. If you don't evacuate, once Russia come to hit, they hit, whether you are a Ukrainian soldier, whether you are whether you are a Russian citizen, you must just know that you're in trouble. So they give you a warning, you make a plan, you leave the space. And then when they come, they're finishing it because they want to make sure that they take the full control of their all entire borders. So on the other side, when the Western, they're busy pushing forward a lot of militaries and gun machines, when Russia, they decided to say that, no, we are going to bombard all these fighting machines, all these cars, we are going to bombard them. And they know from which road these cars are coming. Apparently, there's a tunnel that these cars and fighting machines, all these fighting weapons, they get to go through Ukraine. So Russia said that they are going to bombard it because they have all the full informations, where they know very well that that tunnel, it is from Poland to Ukraine, and they have to go and stop it so that the Western, they won't be able to have easy access to give even more weapons, so that they can, whatever it is, it should just remain between Russia and the Ukraine. As much them also, the Western I'm referring to, they did with Russia by telling Russia that no, by telling all the countries around the world that no one should not supply weapon to Russia. So why should them go ahead and continue supplying weapon to Ukraine? And we'll discuss again more about that in the next video, because you guys need to understand who's benefiting from all this war. There's a lot of revelations we'll be talking about on how the Americans, they're the one who managed even to make billions. We are talking about billions and billions of US dollar, because they are the one who kind of like doing business whereby you spend 150 billion US dollar to sponsor the war in Ukraine, but yet you are gaining even more than 500 billion US dollar that they have managed to benefit so far. So stay tuned for more to coming. So guys, thank you so much for your time. It was very important that we come here, we have this conversation with you, since the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, have visited the Republic of Mongolia, and he went in as a free man and he came out as a free man. What was the message behind that? We try to discuss everything with you. We reveal the secrets that the Western, they were trying to, hoping maybe the Mongolian Republic to cooperate by applying whatsoever they are being asked for. So guys, I believe that will be all for now. We really do appreciate your presence now, but before you leave, feel free to drop us also your comment in the comment section. Tell us what you think about this war and the conflict and the leadership of Vladimir Putin and how the world sees it today. Feel free to share your opinion with us. Above all, don't forget to like this video in your number. Give us your thumbs up. We'll really do appreciate, because it means a lot for us. It is a way of you also supporting us. But if this is your first time to watch our video, well, guys, you are more than welcome to this beautiful Pan-African platform that we have put in place for you guys, so that we can discuss about different matters that concern Africa and what concern the world. So if you want to catch more from us in our next video, it is very simple. You just have to hit that subscribe button right now, so that whenever we are here live, you'll be able to go catch us as soon as possible. That will be all for now. Continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.